Apyaso nahi tyaktavyo, apyaso hi parambalam, anapyase visham vidya, ajirne bhojanam visham, hastasya bhushanam danam, satyam kanthasya bhushanam, shrotrasya bhushanam shastram, bhushanaih kim prayojanam. I encourage you to look away. Only look if something is not recognized. Atra tatra cha sarvatra vartate parameshwaraha anyatra chapi tatsthanam kutrasyadhyatra nasti saha udarasya trinam vittam shurasya maranam trinam viraktasya trinam bharya Niksprahasya trinam jagat koti bhara samarthanam kim duram vyavasayinam ko videsha savidyanam kafparaf priyavadinam taranam bhushanam chandraha Narinam bhushanam patihi Prithivya bhushanam raja Vidya sarvasya bhushanam Shruti vipratipanate Yadastasyati nishchala Samadha vachala buddhihi Tada yogam avapsyasi Akashe chandrama bhati Padmam bhati sarovare Suputrastu kule bhati Sunrpo dharani tale Munde munde matir bhinna Kunde kunde navam jalam Deshe deshe navachara Mukhe mukhe navavani. Before going on to the next verse, we're going to introduce it in a creative fashion. Okay. Let's go through some vocabulary of the following verse. That's a mountain. Repeat, mountain. No, repeat, Shailaha. Shailaha. Out loud. Shailaha. Now write it down, please. Shailaha. Manikyam. Manikyam. Ruby is a red stone. Manikyam. Let's write it down. Okay, I don't know how elephant got on there, but anyway. Mauktikam is a pearl. Mauktikam. Out loud. Mauktikam, and then we'll write it down. And then we'll even draw a little pearl, and you can put some shade. Sadhu. Sadhu is a stem for sadhu. We will get to stems that end with a U later on. So if sadhu is one sadhu, there's three sadhus here. So this means this is a plural. And that's why many sadhus is sadhavaha. And sandal, what's a sandal doing there? What's sandal plus wood? Sandalwood. Okay, so sandalwood is chandanam. That's obviously neuter. That's why I'm ending these words with m. Chandanam, repeat out loud what it says here. Okay, so I'll take it, so get a piece of paper and a pen. Let's write things down. So let's start with the first is, would someone like to read the first two words?
Shele, shele.
Okay, so the question is, why does it sometimes repeat in Sanskrit? You got these doubles. Is that a misspelling? No. When it repeats, it means it has a connotation of in each and every. So if Shailaha is mountain, then Shaile is in the mountain. So what is now Shaile, Shaile?
In every mountain?
Yeah, in each and every mountain. Okay, so what if I said Nare, Nare?
Each and every man.
Good. So let's write down Shaile, Shaile. Okay, so far we can put on top in English, in each and every mountain. And then na manikyam. Okay, now we know manikyam. Remember that little red ruby? So na manikyam. So literally this would mean in each and every mountain, not ruby. Okay, let's write that down. So we're going to say next one is na manikyam. And I'm going to put a vertical full stop. That's the end of the sentence. So that's what it said. That's the first sentence. Shaile, Shaile, na manikyam. So what does this literally say? Someone tell me.
There's ruby is not on each and every mountain.
Okay, super. Okay, does anyone else resonate with that? Mauktikam, before I do, notice how there is no asti, because that's how we're trained, right? We said verb is at the end, and the least you can do is say manikyam asti, right? Ruby is. But in real life, this word asti is hardly found. So this means you simply fill in the word asti, and that's going to solve these problems when there's no asti. Next. Mauktikam na gaje gaje. Remember gaje gaje?
One, sorry to interrupt. The elephant and the pearl. I've heard in mythology that there is an impression that elephants, you know, inside their forehead, there is a pearl.
Okay, in the forehead there's a pearl.
Yeah, inside the forehead. And that's like, I think, led to killing of lots of elephants. People are searching for pearl inside their head, but you will hardly find it.
Okay.
It's very rare.
I think, I think that was the language that were used by poets in the early days, but now that has led to poaching.
Oh, no.
And there is a
story, Swarna, sad story.
Yeah, so there is that's the myth inside the forehead. Well, if of an aged elephant, you find a pearl, and there is a myth as well, like in the cobra snake, king cobra, you find a ruby.
Okay. You know, Mauktikam pearl can also mean the pearl necklace. So when elephants get adorned with these pearl necklaces, that means it's a special elephant. That's another interpretation. And here it says, in each and every elephant, there is not a pearl. In each and every elephant, because it's a double, a pearl is not. Notice how... Yes?
And can I ask a question here in the Muktitam na gaje gaje? Why it is not gaje gaje na Muktitam?
Super. So I'm just going to say that. Thanks. So I want you to notice how there is no sense of order at all. Okay, there's two reasons. Number one, we said earlier on that the order matters little in Sanskrit. And two, more important than the order is how it sounds in the meter, how it sounds when you chant it. For that reason, because most of the Sanskrit is oral, and to preserve that in the mind, in the brain, it has to also have a certain meter, a certain rhythm to it. So if we start to kind of apply grammar to everything, then it's going to keep it more in a sense of, you know, like data, intellectual. So there is an aspect of poetry, as what I was saying, and that poetry is also included in our verses. For that reason, the word order is going to be sometimes highly confusing for this reason alone.
Andre,
yeah,
I actually thought, because we are talking about the pearl, not the elephant, the pearl is not in the elephant. So the na comes after the mautikam.
Okay, is that what you got? So
Yeah, that's what I understood, because we are talking about like Shaila, it's the mountain we are talking about, not the Manikyam. So
okay,
in every mountain, Mautikam na gaje. So I was thinking that's why the na coming in the middle.
So tell me, how do you translate Mautikam na gaje gaje?
Mautikam, pearl, not in each and every elephant.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's what we said. So in each and every elephant, there is not a pearl. Okay, Sadhavaha, that's obviously Sandhi there, second line. Sadhavaha. You know what that means. Wise people. Not, now remember that he, how I said that he is usually a filler in the verse. So there it is. It's just for the sake of meter. So if I say Sadhavo na sarvatra compared to Sadhavo na hi sarvatra, this is, you're adding another syllable for the sake of following, I think it's a, there's a rhythm to the meter. So it just needs to add an extra syllable there. Okay, Sadhavo na sarvatra. Okay, sarvatra means...
everywhere.
Everyone is not a sadhu.
Yeah, everywhere is not. What else does sadhu mean?
Wise men.
Yeah, so wise people are not necessarily everywhere. And then Chandanam na vane vane.
Sandalwood is not in each and every forest.
Yeah, so sandalwood is not necessarily in each and every forest.
Each and every mountain does not have rubies.
Hmm?
Each and every elephant does not have pearls.
Hmm?
Wise people are not everywhere.
Hmm.
Each and every forest doesn't have sandalwood.
Good. So now you can quote that self, by myself, by yourself. So let's see what the verse, what the other translator has said. A ruby is not on every mountain. Remember the the locative is not only in, but it's also on. A ruby is not on every mountain. A pearl is not on every elephant. Wise people are not everywhere. Sandalwood is not in every forest. So if you got it close, then it's fine. The point is, through course of time, we refine our translations anyway. Because see, if we just translate directly, then it's going to be a rather unrefined translation. So this means there's an aspect of now using your own English grammar or your local language, and then just putting it into a smooth, poetical, understandable, graspable fashion. That's the other aspect of translating. Okay, what could this mean?
Majestic glories are rare.
Well, it simply says that some of the best things or the desirable things are not available plenty. They are special.
Or things may look majestic from the outside, but it may not be complete.
Purity is not each and every one, or in everything that we see.
Yeah. Super. Okay. So this, yeah. Anything else?
If you view the elephant and the mountain as majestic on their own, then maybe you don't need the ruby or the pearl to give them value.
Also, it takes time for each of these to form. A pearl, a ruby, or a wise people. It takes time to actually, grow and cultivate.
We should not take it for granted.
But we're getting you just a preview of what it means to, number one, translate directly. Number two, refine the translation. And number three, provide your commentaries. What could the verse be pointing to? Shaile, shaile, nama, nikyam, mauktikam, nagaje, gaje, sadhavo, nahi sarvatra, chandanam, navane, vane.
Can I ask just two questions?
Yes, of course.
On the he one, nahi, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do I mean, if I come across this for the first time, how would I know that that has been just padded? Or just anywhere it comes, I say, okay, it's padded.
Good. So in other words, how do you know where there's a full stop? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
So for example, shaile, shale, nama, nikyam, full stop.
No, sorry. No, I'm talking about the second line, nahi. that he is a padded word, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how do I know that the word is padded, just added?
You will know by now just hearing that it's always going to be a filler. So next time you see it in another verse, you go, he is a filler. Therefore, don't try to translate he.
Translate. Okay. All right. And the other one is that sarvetra, that is not repeated, isn't it?
Yeah, sarvatra is not repeated indeed. So this doesn't follow the rhythm of the previous ones. So this means on the basis of the previous ones, we can infer what the next sentence may be saying.
Also, sarvatra has every in it. Right?
Yeah, good, Shiv. Good. So I repeat every and in each and every, and in each and every, right? Or something like that.
Or atra, or something like that.
Yeah, good.
Okay, so sarvetra, because it encompasses each and every, so we don't.
Yeah, okay, I'll just go with Shiva because that was brilliant what he said. It already encompasses.
Also, by the meter, the starting word or the ending word is only doubled. Nothing in the middle is doubled.
Yeah, okay. 1A is only doubled. I guess also because it follows a meter. Because if you put sarvatra, it will go out of this rhythm, out of the syllable. Because every verse in Sanskrit chanting has an equal amount of syllables on each line. And if you put sarvatra, that's going to say sarvatra. So it's going to add 3 more syllables onto the second line. And that's just going to go out of meter. When I say meter, I'm talking about the chanting method. And we'll say the whole paradigm for patati.
Is it patami or that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Patami, patasi, patati, patavaha, patataha, patatha, patamaha, patatha, patyanti.
Patanti. Okay.
Patanti.
Okay. Casey, would you like to tell us what every verb means in the pink square?
Yeah, so gachati, come. Gachati, go. Gayati, conquer or overcome. Patati, read. Pashyati, see. Prachati, ask. Bhavati, is or are. Vadati, speak. Yeah, speak.
Yep.
Vadati, live. Tishtati, stand. Smarati, remember.
Well done. Okay, we're going to learn about numbers. And then we're going to learn about a new paradigm that means stems that end with E. So I'll give you context before going in. We've so far learned about stems that end with A, nara, pala. No matter if it's masculine or neuter, it's still A. And then just put the endings, of course, at the end. So what's going to happen now is we're going to learn new words that end with E. So instead of this A there, it's going to have an E. Instead of this A, it's going to have an E. Instead of A, it's going to have an E. In other words, whenever a word ends with an E, then this paradigm that we're about to learn will apply. So this means, yes, Shiva, before I go on.
So we also learned sena. So is that a similar paradigm where it ends with A?
Yes. So, well, I mean, sena and, nara, A and A are 2 different letters. So that's why sena is much different than nara, because A, right, sena. See, this A long is totally different than short A. It's kind of like in English difference between G and Z. There's no correlation there. So that's why sena has a different paradigm than both pala and nara. Why? The only reason is because the last letter is different. So summary, when the last letter, when I say last letter, I'm talking about the last letter of the stem. When the last letter of the stem is different, immediately that stem gains a new paradigm. Remember when we added sena, immediately we had to learn a new paradigm. Sena, sene, senaha, right? It's different than nara, narao, naraha. Point 1 on page 157. These are the numerals in terms of numbers. So if we're saying 1 equivalent to 1, then you have to now learn how to write the numerals in Devanagari. So this is a new Devanagari practice. So just write 2 and then go like this, write 3 and then go like that. Why to do this? Because it's going to say soon enough, when you do your exercises, like homework, instead of going 1, 2, you're going to now start replacing them with these numbers here, just for practice. That's the first point. So that's the numerals. Now also there's cardinal numbers. Cardinal numbers is instead of writing 1, you're writing the actual word for 1. So that's numeral and this is cardinal. Cardinal. So here they are, cardinal numbers over here. 1 is eka, 2 is dvi, 3 is 3, etc.
So I'm not sure I understand the cardinal. How is that different from ekam, dve, trini, chatwari?
Same, Shiva. So this cardinal is writing it in actual, instead of writing, 1, this is numeral. Cardinal, instead of writing that, you're writing the actual word 1. Okay. That's cardinal. Instead of writing this, that's a numeral, you write actually number 2. Right.
And
in other words, you write dvi.
So what is ekam and dve?
Good. So we're going to get into the endings. See, it's the same thing. It's eka, dvi. This is a stem, and then dve, ekam. This is now adding the endings onto the stem.
Okay.
Okay. So again, Shiva asked, "What is this dve, trini, ekam?" Right? Where's this trini? Where's dve? Where's ekam? Where's the mid here? It's not there. Why? Because this is a stem, just like nara. Where's the naraha? Where's the ena? Where's the apyam? You add this onto the nara stem, and therefore you have narapyam. Now, point 2, it says Devanagari numerals combine just like Arabic. To simplify this, they combine just like in English. 23 equals, and then you look for number 3. Ta-da. Point 3. For now, we will not use the cardinal numbers. I explain what cardinal numbers are. Therefore, we will not use eka, dvi. Why? Because their declensions are complex, so they change their endings. So this means there's more paradigms to remember, right? So what it's really saying is let's put those complications aside and let's do an alternative method to using cardinals in our homework. And what is it going to say about that? It's going to instead use ordinals. Ordinals. What is ordinal? Instead of saying 1, right? You're actually writing 1. You're going to say first. Instead of writing 2, you're going to say second. So remember, 1, if you write it like this is a cardinal. If you write first, this is an ordinal. If you just write number 1, this is a numeral. Numeral, cardinal, ordinal. So what it's saying here is we're going to stick with the ordinals. The question is why? Because ordinals are easier to decline. Okay, it's going to say that now soon. The ordinal numbers will be used in the exercises because the declensions are easier than cardinal numbers. Okay, here it is. The ordinal decline or used just like adjectives. Now we'll stop there. What is an adjective? It qualifies the noun, remember? So whatever the noun ends with, that is exactly what the adjective ends with. So I'll give you some context. You'd say, you say virtuous, dharmikaha, naraha. So that naraha and dharmikaha, right? So the adjective qualifies the ending of the noun. That's clear, right? So what it's saying here is the ordinals, remember ordinals are here, are going to qualify, same thing. You decline it just like the noun, except you don't use dual or plural. So in other words, ordinals lack dual and plural. They're only going to be singular. So whether they qualify a dual noun, they're going to be singular. Whether the ordinal qualifies a plural noun, they're going to be singular. They modify and agree with it in gender and case. In other words, ordinals always remain singular. Oh, there it is. The number, that means the ordinal number will be singular no matter what. I'll give you some context. How do you say first two men? Narau, and then we just say pratamaha. Okay, see that? Pratamaha narau. I didn't say pratamao narau. Ordinal does not take dual or plural. It only remains singular. See how it's singular? It's aha. So pratamaha narau. Pratamaha naraha. Pratamaha naraha. Pratamaha always remains the same with many first men. Okay, we'll just say with many men, naraihi saha. Pratamena naraihi saha. You see how pratamena is singular? Number 6, the ordinal numbers follow short a declension for masculine and neuter. Pratamaha naraha. Pratamam palam. Pratamam pale. Pratamam palani. For the feminines, they follow a long a, just like sena. So how do you say first army? Pratama sena. How do you say first two armies? Pratama sene. How do we say first many armies? Pratama senaha. Again, the ordinals always remain singular. And then it says some ordinals end with E. Let's say fifth army. Panchami sena. Okay, let's repeat out loud. First, pratama. Second, dvitiya. Third, tritiya. Fourth, chaturthi or turiya. Fifth, panchami. Sixth, shashti. 7, saptami. 8th, ashtami. 9th, navami. 10th, dashami. So of course, I'll now call them out when they're qualifying a feminine. If I was calling them out and they were qualifying a masculine, then we'll say pratamaha, dvitiyaha, tritiyaha, chaturthaha, panchamaha, shashtaha, etc. We're now going to learn masculine and feminine declensions for stems that end with E. They differ only in accusative plural and instrumental singular. This is good news. So whether you're talking about masculine or feminine, this is point 1. If the stem ends in E, then the masculine and the feminine paradigm is 95% the same. The only difference is instrumental singular and accusative plural. This is where the little red book comes in handy. And I'm going to start using the book for the first time. By the way, I would like you to print that little book out, at least the first 30 pages, because we'll be using it more often. So I'm going to go to little red book, page 4, 5, and 6. The reason is because it's going to divide them into proper, only masculine, only feminine, and only neuter paradigms. Because I think it's a lot better than sort of mixing the feminines and the masculines all in one table. It gets really messy here. So I'm going to show you what the table looks like. There it is. So page 4, 5, and 6. Okay, before we get overwhelmed, what's step 1 when looking at a paradigm?
Patterns.
Highlight where's the common endings. Let's stick with just masculine. Muni, sage. The other word in the book was Agni for fire. Agnihi, you've heard that a million times. Muni, pause. Just pause it as Muni because that's a stem. Notice how it adds the visarga at the end. Muni hi. Muni hi, repeat. And then Muni. That means 2 sages. It just doubles the I. And then Mun ayaha, Munayaha. Notice what happened to the E, just disappeared. And it changed with ayaha. Munayaha. This is a commonality. If you have an accusative, it's always going to end with a M, like naram. In this case, munim. Muni, same as narau, narau. Munin. Okay, instrumental, munina. No correlation. Narena, senaya. Kind of like senaya. Munina. With the sage. With 2 sages, muni pyam. Nara pyam. Sena pyam. Ava pyam. Yuva pyam, etc. pyam. Okay, and then with many sages, muni bihi. Muni bihi. Naraihi sena bihi. There's a similarity there. For the sage, for 2 sages, for many sages. Munaye. Notice the E got removed. Muni pyam. Muni pyaha. Muni pyaha. Just like nare pyaha, nare pyaha. Muni pyaha. So all you did is just added pyaha. So this is not complicated because, you know, nare pyaha, it's always a pyaha at the end. Okay, from the sage, from 2 sages, from many sages. Out loud. Munehe, muni pyam, muni pyaha. Of the sage, of 2 sages, of many sages. Munehe, munyoho, muninam. In the sage or on the sage, on 2, on many. Munau, munyoho, munishu. Okay. Now, we'll finish as soon enough. I'm not going to go forward past this. There it is. The little dots that I've circled are the only different ones, as opposed to masculine. Now, notice how there's alternative styles here. See that? You can either say shrutyai, just like munaye, shrutaye. You see that? Shrutaye. Masculine, munaye. Feminine, shrutaye. Masculine, munehe. Feminine, shrutehe. No difference, right? Now notice how there is a extra alternative form, yai. So this means you can also say shrutyai. You can also say shrutyaha. So you can say, in feminine, you can say shrutyai or shrutaye. We can say shrutyaha or shrutehe. Shrutyaha, shrutehe. Shrutyam or shrutau. Then you're going to say which one's better. They are used interchangeably in the texts. Now, this is a good example to bring the difference between Vedic Sanskrit and classical Sanskrit. What's the difference between Vedic Sanskrit? Vedic Sanskrit is a Sanskrit in which the Vedas are written in. And we're studying classical Sanskrit. So what's the difference? There is no difference except that Vedic Sanskrit, the one that the Vedas are written in, their paradigms have alternative forms. And you're just seeing that right here, right now. So this means if you only remember Shrutaye, but you don't also remember Shrutyai, then if you read Shrutyai in the scriptures, you're gonna say, what is this? What paradigm is this? So this is where the Vedic Sanskrit is one step more, even more, to remember than the classical, because it has alternative forms. The other example is, see this as asmakam, our. Asmakam, right? Our. Okay, what is the Gayatri Mantra? The Gayatri Mantra, last line, Dhiyo yo nah prachodayat. Nah, naha. There it is, naha. Why is this? Because the Gayatri Mantra comes from the Vedas. Therefore, they use the alternative form. So now you start to see the importance of these words in the brackets, because literally 90% of the texts are not going to be using asmakam, that's classical Sanskrit. They're going to be using naha.